Live from ABC7, this is Eyewitness News on LA 56.
The campus of UC Santa Barbara on alert. Authorities investigating the gang rape of a 19-year-old student. Good evening, I'm David Ono.
And I'm Colleen Sullivan. Welcome back to ABC7 Eyewitness News on LA 56. The Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Department is investigating, but detectives do not have much to go on tonight. With suspects on the loose, students are worried and university officials have issued a campus-wide alert. More from Eyewitness News reporter Leo Stallworth in Isla Vista.
I feel safe on campus most of the time, but it's just like isolated incidences like these that kind of make things a little bit shakier.
Investigators say the 19-year-old UC Santa Barbara student was walking when she was approached by a group of men who beat her and gang raped her over the weekend. The victim telling detectives she is not sure where she was attacked. Investigators say it was either on campus or nearby.
Right now, what we have to go on is that the suspects are described as Asian males. Obviously, this is a lot for the victim to go through, so we are working with her to try and get a better description and to find who did this.
It is kind of scary. You just have to know your surroundings and know yourself.
Investigators say the sexual assault happened between 11 p.m. Saturday and 4 a.m. Sunday.
Such a small community here in Santa Barbara, so you don't really think that things like that can happen.
University officials have sent out alerts via text and emails to students.
It just isn't safe out here anymore. I'm a freshman, so it's kind of scary. You know, you come into a school and it's you get emails where it's like violent crimes happening. It's scary.
To be safe, university officials are encouraging students on campus to do what these young ladies are doing right here, and that's walking in pairs, walking together, and being aware of your surroundings at all times.
You know, you're with your friends, you are looking out for each other. We don't really drink, so we're just kind of like looking out for everyone, making sure everyone's safe.
In Santa Barbara, Leo Stallworth, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
A plea for witnesses to come forward today by the family of a man who was fatally stabbed last month. Surveillance video captures 26-year-old Rushawn Davis moments before he was confronted. Police say he was on his way to the DMV on January 29th when he was stabbed outside a gas station at the intersection of Coliseum Street and La Brea Avenue. He was able to run back to his home where his wife heard him scream. She says she wants to find the killer not just for closure, but for the safety of others.
He could be out there doing this to somebody else, and like I said, nothing's gonna bring my husband back, nothing. And nothing's gonna give my kids a father, but at least we will know, and if this person gets caught, he'll be in jail for life.
Davis was transported to a hospital where he died. So far, no witnesses have come forward. If you have any information, you're urged to call 1-877-LAPD 24/7. Hundreds gathered in Fresno today to remember two CHP officers who died in the line of duty. Juan Gonzalez and Brian Law were close friends who graduated from the CHP Academy together in 2008. The officers were responding to a crash in their patrol car last Monday when they veered off the highway and flipped over. Gomez was behind the wheel. Investigators think he was trying to avoid hitting someone involved in the crash the officers were responding to.
City officials want to take back the streets from prostitution. Today, they announced a new approach in trouble spots in the San Fernando Valley. City officials gathered in what they described as a prostitution corridor to unveil a new plan to combat prostitution on many levels. Last October, Councilwoman Nuri Martinez introduced a motion calling on the LAPD and city attorney to focus not just on customers and pimps, but also to help deter Johns from victimizing children and young women.
We spent about 5 hours out here, and I saw not only women, but I saw little girls as old as maybe 13, 15 years old, standing at this very corner while they waited for their John to solicit them.
Martinez says the focus will be on two key prostitution corridors in Sun Valley and Van Nuys.
Actress Amanda Bynes pled no contest today to charges stemming from a crash involving an LA County Sheriff's Department patrol car. Bynes was originally charged with DUI after the 2012 crash in West Hollywood. She pled no contest today to a misdemeanor reckless charge. The judge sentenced her to probation and an alcohol education class. The crash was one in a series of incidents in 2012, including two separate hit and runs and an arrest for driving on a suspended license. West Covina police are trying to figure out who vandalized a statue honoring the late Major League Baseball player Corey Lytle. The statue sits at the front entrance to the Big League Dream Park. Vandals toppled it and then cut it apart. They also took 3 bronze plaques from near the statue, and we're told the damage exceeds $100,000.
Apparently, the vandals were trying to remove the statue to utilize it for its scrap value. And in so doing, they damaged the statue pretty heavily. They were trying to cut off the arms and legs because once they cut it off, they didn't realize that the statue weighed almost a half a ton. So now they were stuck with, what are we going to do with it? They tried to cut it into pieces.
So you're asked to call West Covina Police at 626-939-8557 if you can help them catch these vandals.
Things are quiet tonight in Ukraine, but there's still concern about what will happen next in the country. The acting government issued a warrant, an arrest warrant for President Viktor Yanukovych, who hasn't been seen since last week. Ukrainians are getting their first look at the $550 million presidential palace and extravagant lifestyle he left behind. But the nation remains divided. Those in Kiev are eager to turn to Europe and the United States. But on the east, Ukrainians are pro-Russia and say they want their government back.
Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel is proposing drastic cuts to the military, including shrinking the Army to its smallest size since before World War II. The top Pentagon brass says the budget reflects changing threats to the U.S. and smaller budgets. ABC's Karen Travers reports from Washington.
After more than a decade of war in Iraq and Afghanistan, the Pentagon's preparing for the next stage of the U.S. military. And that means big changes for the Army.
The changes to end strength would result in a smaller Army, but would help ensure the Army remain well-trained and clearly superior in arms and equipment.
There are currently 522,000 active duty soldiers. That number was already scheduled to drop to 490,000 by 2015. But today, Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel announced even deeper proposed cuts, an Army force of 440 to 450,000 soldiers. That's the smallest size since before World War II. But the Pentagon chief insisted this will not put America at risk.
They should be assured that we will retain the capability to defend our country and our interests around the world.
And he said these cuts are necessary because of changing global challenges and smaller budgets.
We've tried to present a budget based on the balance of those realities. We've done it in a collaborative, pragmatic way.
Today's announcement comes a week before President Obama is set to unveil his 2015 budget. Hagel said the Pentagon's part of that will offer
a more deliberate and far more responsible approach that protects readiness and modernization, while maintaining a force large enough to fulfill our defense strategy, though with some risk for some missions.
Hagel said there will be a new round of proposed military base closings in 2017, but he acknowledged that Congress so far has been very reluctant to sign on. Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington.
Up next, why Netflix is handing over millions to a major cable company.
And all sorts of businesses are finding different ways to reach you through social media. And that includes the travel industry. Up next, what you can expect from companies trying to get your business.
And I'm meteorologist Jonathan Novak. Hey, we've been waiting for it. Rain on the way, not one system, but two. Could see some really good rainfall this week. I got details on it all. 70 forecast.
Attorney General Eric Holder wants quick notification to consumers when a company suffers a data breach, such as the one at Target. He's urging Congress to create a national standard for alerting customers so they can protect themselves from identity theft if their information is compromised. Holder says Congress should hold companies accountable when they fail to keep sensitive data safe. A Senate bill that has been gaining support would do much of what Holder is asking. And Netflix and Comcast are working together to ensure smoother streaming to their shared subscribers. This is Netflix's first deal with an internet service provider. In return for the improved access, Netflix will pay Comcast an undisclosed amount of money for the next few years. It's unclear if that will lead to any price hikes. Earlier this month, Comcast announced a plan to buy Time Warner Cable for more than $40 billion.
Would you book your next hotel stay on Twitter? Hotels, airlines, cruise lines are turning up the volume on social media channels to personally help consumers plan, organize, even book their trips. Consumer specialist Rick Romero takes a look at what this means for you.
When frequent traveler Christine Kirk books a trip, she typically hits Twitter, looking for recommendations to great spas and restaurants near her hotel. She's no longer surprised when the property tweets back a few suggestions.
It's just a really convenient way for me to communicate with the hotel.
The latest travel trend, hotels, airlines, and cruise lines using social media to make sure your stay is a good one. Lowe's Hotels recently launched social reservations where people on Twitter can book rooms during a secure chat conversation with an agent. And booking is just the beginning.
They are engaging with them in a much earlier part of the trip planning process and providing a lot more personal advice than they have in the past.
Travel and Leisure's Rich Beatty sees big brands responding to travelers on a one-on-one level on everything from Facebook to Instagram. They're following your tags and the money.
One study showed that customers who engage with companies on social media spend 20 to 40% more than customers who don't. So travel companies realize there's a huge upside now to engaging with customers on a very direct one-to-one level.
Carrie Mitchell is the public relations director for the Beverly Wilshire Hotel. She says their popular Pin Pack Go program on Pinterest has proven results.
It works as a collaborative exchange between property and guests. So before they're coming, they create their own boards with the destination they would like to go to. So it really helps us with customization.
At some hotels, you may even find a digital concierge to help customize your stay, or get rewards if you check in using Foursquare. So, is there a downside? Well, Beatty says consumers give up some of their privacy in exchange for the tips.
But that's what social media is sharing. And if you don't want to share anything, you shouldn't share it.
Meantime, he believes the benefits to travelers are only going to get better.
Where travelers are on the ground, the opportunity to reach them at that time with specific offers in destination, I think, is going to be the next big thing in social media.
Just to give you an idea of how popular social media is with the travel industry, Travel and Leisure magazine now has a special category of awards for those companies who make the best use of social media. At Bob Hope Airport, this is Rick Romero, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
We are bracing for a powerful winter storm. When will the first showers arrive? As you look at this live picture from Burbank, where it will soon be wet, well, at least later on this week. Jonathan Novak's complete forecast is coming up next, plus this.
Also, is Diet Cola, is that a vegetable?
The First Lady gets a little help of the comedy variety courtesy of Will Ferrell. The message: they are teaming up to get out when Eyewitness News returns.
Well, yes, you've heard probably a lot of rain is heading our way finally, and Jonathan Novak has been tracking it.
What have I been saying?
What have we been saying? You felt it in your gut. You felt it in your gut.
Wasn't even that. You know what it was? Well, it was. But, you know, the models have not been consistent. The one day they would show a system, the next day, 10 days out, wouldn't really be there. But this time it's just been consistent, every day forecasting it. In the words of a unnamed cartoon that does not air on this station, it's going to rain, folks. Here we go. How's that? Outside right now, live Megadoppler 7000 HD. Just stay tuned at 56 or
56.
or ABC7. I want to show you the live Megadoppler 7000 HD. First, I'm going to jump back to that. I jumped ahead. There we go. The live sweep heading around. This is going to be a busy picture starting on Wednesday, but mainly on Friday. We've got some decent rain ahead. When I say decent, I'm going to give you an idea right here in the almanac. We looked at it earlier, but I want to show you something. Rainfall right here. This is for today. 0, of course. It's a really nice day, actually. Season 1.2. That's what we've had so far for the rainy season. Normally, since January 1st, actually, I should say what we've had, less than 1/4 of an inch. Normally, we should have already had over 6. By the end of this whole week, with the two systems, we should be about 30% or so caught up. So we're not quite there at the end of the week, but it's going to be a big help with this system right here, the first of 2 that's going to be rolling through California, Southern California. Let me show you 2 graphics. One is the jet stream, because I want to show you that we're going to get a lot of help with the upper level of the atmosphere. This jet stream is going to come on through. Check it out on Wednesday, finally digging south enough. And when this happens, all that air, all the atmosphere in the upper levels gets evacuated, so to speak. And so what has to fill it? The air from below, the moist air from below, and that rises up. That gives us rain and possibly some thunderstorms. And here you go in the future rainfall. I'll bring it through Wednesday. See already chances of rain skirting the coast here. That's Wednesday, 7:30 a.m. And then by Wednesday night, snow Rain into central portions of the state and then down into Ventura and probably LA County for Wednesday night. And then here's that big system coming in on Friday, and that could bring 1 to 2 inches for LA, and that could bring 2 to 4 for the foothills as we're heading through Friday night into Saturday, and some snow for the mountains overnight. Some fog in the morning. Otherwise, going to be a very nice night. Nice day tomorrow. Enjoy it. It's about the last of it for a week. Lower 70s overall, upper 60s at the coast, and 55 Wrightwood, 73 Beaumont. 70 forecast for LA Metro and Orange County. Rain on Wednesday, maybe a 1/4 inch at the most for LA. Friday night into Saturday, 1 to 2 heavy rain. Possible chances of thunderstorms even. We'll have to watch out for that. We'll be tracking it for you right here in the Weather Center and in the valleys, i.e. a 1/2 inch possible Wednesday night into Thursday. We'll get a bit of a break, and then Friday night into Saturday, 2 to 4 inches, especially as we get that moist air rising up on the mountain slopes. Mountains looking for some snow possibly Friday night into Saturday, with snow levels dropping to 6,000 feet in the high desert. Chance of rain as well. 1/2 inch to 1 inch on Friday. Everybody's getting some, and Dallas will have more on ABC7 at 11, so stay tuned for that.
All right, Jonathan, thank you. Clippers stumble out of the All-Star break, losing to San Antonio and Memphis, but a much-needed win in Oklahoma City yesterday seemed to right the ship. And tonight, the Clips look to end a 3-game road trip on a high note and once again have a winning record away from Staples Center. The Clips in New Orleans, where they should fear the unibrow. Anthony Davis kept the Pelicans close in the first half, scoring 15 of his 24 points in the opening 24 minutes. But DeAndre Jordan matched Davis's effort, another double-double for DJ. He scored all of his 14 points in the opening half and finished with 16 rebounds. The Clips up 8 points at the break. Clippers pulled away from New Orleans in the third quarter. Blake Griffin leading the way, 11 of his 22 points in the frame, as they led by 15 after 3 quarters. The Clippers made 15 shots from long distance. Jamal Crawford with 7 of them. As he led the Clips with 24 points, the Clippers cruised to the 123-110 win. History made last night at Staples Center as Jason Collins became the first openly gay player to play in an NBA game. Collins signed a 10-day contract with the New Jersey Nets yesterday and made his debut early in the second quarter against the Lakers. Collins played 11 minutes, grabbed 2 rebounds. Missouri defensive end Michael Sam is looking to become the first openly gay player in the NFL. The SEC Defensive Player of the Year didn't fare too well at the NFL Combine today. Sam ran a 4.91 in the 40, had a 25.5-inch vertical, and completed the 3-cone drill in 7.8 seconds, finishing with a grade of 5.22. That's more than 2 points lower than the top defensive lineman, Jadeveon Clowney.
It was only first time. I'm going to hopefully get back to work and run a faster time on my pro day.
What were you looking to accomplish basically with your field drills today out on the combine?
That I wanted to let everyone know that I'm a football player.
The times still are not fast enough to be an elite type linebacker. They're still making the comments about being a tweener. How do you feel about that?
I'm not focused on that. I'm just focusing on me.
And as you heard him say, he didn't put up the numbers he'd hoped for at this combine, but he will have another chance to impress the NFL scouts on his pro day, and that will be on March 7th.
Comedian Will Ferrell is getting with the program. First Lady Michelle Obama's Let's Move program, that is.
Diet cola? Is that a vegetable? What's so funny?
You're funny.
You're funny.
Okay, so maybe Ferrell's not quite with the program yet. This is a focus group for the First Lady's campaign aimed at getting kids to eat healthier and be more active.
If I eat a great diet 6 days a week, but on Sunday I eat nothing but candy, is that okay?
No.
What?
And Ferrell also asked if there was a trick for getting a great beach bod for the summer, and was duly informed that there are no tricks to eating right.
One last question. Oh, I bet he's great with the kids.
I know.
Up next, quiet in honor for a talented young filmmaker. Next, meet the local 16-year-old whose film just landed him an invitation to the White House.
And ahead tonight on Eyewitness News at 11 on KABC, a search is underway for the driver who ran down an elderly man in an apparent act of road rage. The disturbing incident was caught on tape. Should the moon determine how and what you eat? That's the premise of a decades-old diet that is resurging with howling success. These stories and all the late-breaking news on Southern California's #1 late newscast, Eyewitness News at 11 on KABC.
A high school junior at Pasadena's Polytechnic School is headed to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
He has an invitation to screen his film at the first ever White House Student Film Festival. Eyewitness News reporter Leanne Suter introduces us to this budding young filmmaker and his inspirational project.
Hi, my name is Alex.
This heartfelt film by a brother about a brother
I have dyslexia and dysgraphia.
is just 3 minutes long, but it's taking 16-year-old Mitch Pungschwan and his brother Alex all the way to the White House.
I'm really hoping the president is there.
This high school junior has been selected as a finalist in the first ever White House Film Festival.
It was pretty surreal considering I didn't put as much effort into it as I could have, but I mean, it's great that I get to go to the White House. It's truly amazing.
The theme was technology and education, something 13-year-old Alex knows all about as he struggles to read and write.
We went out into the canyon because it was close, and we just started shooting stuff. And then after a while, a story started to develop out of that.
It turned out to be a touching story about Alex's love of nature and his life-changing learning thanks to modern technology.
It's made a really big difference. Instead of writing out everything by hand, I can just type out everything or talk into my iPad.
It's just the whole movie as a whole. It's just so nice for Mitch to be able to show his brother and how much he loves his brother.
Combine that with Mitch's love for filmmaking and editing and a simple message worthy of the White House.
I just want to showcase how kids with dyslexia are, they're not any different than normal kids.
In Altadena, Leanne Suter, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
It's incredible.
Well done.
Well, that does it for us tonight. Thank you so much for joining us for Eyewitness News at 8 here on LA 56. Law & Order SVU is next.